the primary types of derivative contracts that we discussed about were forward commitments and contingent claims, right? Now the three major kinds of forward commitments that we will discuss here are forward contracts, future contracts, and swaps. So first, let us discuss what are forward contracts. Let us take an example, friends. Let's say a person named ABC has 1 kg of silver. The price of this is, let's say, $1,000 for 1 kg, right? Now ABC feels that the price of silver has reached its peak, and in the future, let's say 3 months, the price of the silver is going to be down. Okay, so ABC creates a forward contract which says that ABC is willing to sell the silver at $1,000 3 months from now. So the forward contract says that 3 months from the initiation of the contract, ABC is going to sell the 1 kg of silver at $1,000 once the forward contract has been initiated. Okay, this is what we call a forward contract. Now this $1,000 can be symbolized as F0 T. T is basically the maturity time, which is 3 months. Initiation time is T is equal to 0. Maturity is generalized as T is equal to capital T, let's say. Therefore, the forward price, that is the price at which the contract will be fulfilled at the end of the maturity of the contract period, is denoted by F0T, let's say. Now at that time, let's say the market price of the silver is ST, that is at T is equal to T, or in this case, which is 3 months, right? Now who makes a profit and who makes a loss? That is the question, right? So let's say ABC has entered this contract with XYZ, right? XYZ has bought the contract from ABC. Now in derivative parlance, ABC is the seller of the contract. That means he's the seller, means he's the short entity. He has shorted. And XYZ has bought the contract. He is the buyer. So he is the long entity with respect to the contract, right? Now let's say at T is equal to T, which is 3 months in this case, the price of silver is $1,200 per kg. In this case, gain to the buyer is, this is case 1, let's say. Gain to the buyer, that is XYZ, is equal to 1200 minus 1000. This is equal to $200. Why? Because from the market, if he had to buy, he would have had to buy it at 1200. Now he bought it at 1000, so he made a gain of $200. And the loss to the seller, loss to ABC, is equal to minus $200. Because if he had sold in the market, he would have sold it at 1200. Now he has to sell it at 1000 because this is a forward commitment. He cannot back out. So he will take a loss of minus $200. So this is case 1, right? Now case 2. Let's say the price at T is equal to T is $900. $900 per kg. In this case, ABC has gained. A gain to the seller or the ABC is equal to 1000 minus 900 or $1,000, and loss to the buyer XYZ is equal to minus $100. Why? Because if the buyer had bought from the market, he or she could have bought it at $900, but now he has to buy it at $1,000 from ABC because he has entered into a forward commitment contract, which is a forward contract is basically a forward commitment contract. You cannot back out from it, so he has to take a loss. He or she has to take a loss of minus $100. The case 3 is at t is equal to t, the price remains at $1,000 per kg. In that case, no loss, no gain. No loss, no gain for either ABC or XYZ. Now the generalized formula, you can draw a generalized formula for this. From these case studies, you can basically derive a generalized formula for this forward contracts. The value to the long side of a forward contract at maturity is given by Vt is equal to St minus F0t. St is the market price at maturity of the underlying, right? And F0t is the contract price at maturity of the same underlying. Now, the value to the short of the forward contract at maturity is given by minus Vt is equal to F0t minus St. So you can understand that if the market price is higher than the contract price, the person who is long the forward contract makes a gain, and the reverse happens to the short person. Similarly, when the market price is less than the contract price, the short side of the forward gains while the long sides makes a loss. So St greater than F0t means the long party gains, and F0t greater than Ft means the short party gains. So friends, now we are in a place to talk about the features of the forward contracts. So firstly, it's an OTC contract, over the counter contract, so which means it's going to be flexible. It's not standardized, neither the maturity nor the contract size, so it's more flexible. Third is there is more privacy, which means less transparency. Fourth, and the biggest worry of it all, is there is counterparty risk. Counterparty risk. This means for any reason one of the parties, mostly it happens when there is a loss to be made by that party may not fulfill the commitment made through the contract. Okay. So these are the 4 main features of a forward contract. Now, based on these features, we can define a forward contract also. So, a forward contract is an over-the-counter financial instrument that binds 2 parties, a seller and a buyer, where the seller is committed to sell the underlying at the price decided at the contract initiation to the buyer at maturity, while the buyer also is committed to buy it at the pre-decided conditions at maturity. So both parties are bound by the contract. They have to fulfill the commitment. So this is what a forward contract stands for. Now, it is not always that cash is exchanged for the underlying to fulfill the contract. There are many ways of fulfilling a forward contract, which depends on the contract itself. So there can be non-deliverable forward contracts, NDFs, cash settled contracts, contracts for differences. So in all these cases, the underlying does not exchange hands. There is a cash transaction. Whoever is the gaining position may take the difference of the cash amounts of the market price and the contract price. That's how these contracts generally work, right? Now we will move to a second kind of forward commitment, which is more standardized and exchange based. So that is called the futures contract. Let's discuss that, friends.